Hello, welcome to our devotional time here at Temple Baptist Church in Poplar, Bluff, Missouri. We're going to be in the book of Matthew for today. We're going to be in chapter 5, and we're going to look at verse 5 is going to be our focus of our devotional day. But we may look at verses 1 through 12, and this is the Beatitudes that we talk about and all of that. Verse 5 says this, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." And I'm saying that's going to be the focus of our devotional today. But and seeing the multitudes, he went up on a mountain, and when he was seated, his disciples came to him. Then he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Now, we're going back to verse 5 there. Jesus talks about, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And I'm not sure that I like that term meekness sometimes. I know sometimes I don't like that. When our enemy attacks us, my natural reaction is to drive them to the wall, get back to give back the way they gave us, So, and I justify myself to think that, the people who don't understand anything but brutal strength, they're the enemy, and all they understand is that brutal strength. And so, when we think about that in human terms and in our natural desires to do things like that, how do we interpret these words that Jesus, just seems to me, to counter the good sense in human relationships? Here we are, possibly though, a lot of times that I do anyhow, we need to just read the verse rather than try to modify them to our experiences. That's what we try to do here sometimes, or I try to do anyhow, is modify that. Jesus was saying that we're going to sometimes have to become humble to be faithful. We want to be faithful, we got to be humble, and sometimes we just have to swallow our pride. Let's just think back a little bit about how the Lord's patience was when he was being reviled, he was being beaten, he was being disrespected at the crucifixion. If the Master can take that, why can't we take just a little bit of humiliation, or take meekness and be meek about things instead of trying to be so brutal, trying to be so strengthful about it? And I think there's times when we, as God's children, have to take charge. We have to fight back. We have to, and when I talk about fighting back, I'm not talking about fists and clubs and chains and stuff like that. I'm talking about fighting back in a way that is not destructive, but just standing up for what's right. And so, we have to do that, and so we do that, and right the wrongs. But if you look at the cross, to give them again and again, that's what the Master done. Meekness is not weakness. It's not weakness to be meek, as Jesus has taught us, and he keeps teaching us. We can give up the burdens of always having to be treated fairly. We're not going to always be treated what we think is fairly, but we're going to. Jesus told us that people who live this way will inherit the earth. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Now, don't ask me what that means exactly, because I don't know what it means exactly. I know it hasn't been revealed yet. But it certainly, to me, guarantees that our submissive service results in a win. We're in a win-win situation however we choose to go with the Lord Jesus Christ. Let's remember that blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Look at all the blessed things that Jesus is talking about here in these verses. I won't take the time to go back over all of them, but we could get into a real message right here rather than a devotional if we just took off on that. But just remember, to be humble, serve God. Don't try to attack every time something happens. Just rely on God leading us. We invite you to our services here at Temple. We meet on Sunday mornings at our first services at 8 o'clock. Then we have Sunday school classes from 9 till 10 or 9:45. And then at 10 o'clock we have our second worship service, Sunday nights at 6, Wednesday night at 7. May God bless you is our prayer.